Welcome to everyone to the District 6630 webinar for the new Rotary Club Central. I'm Cheryl Warren, and with us this evening is our distinguished District Governor-elect, Beverly-Ghent Skrzynski. Also on the webinar with us tonight is John Hannes, our Rotary International Senior Coordinator for Club and District Support. I'd like to bring to your attention that this is being recorded. You will have the benefit of asking questions verbally at the end, but in the meantime, you are all muted. You may go to the chat box if you have any issues hearing me or seeing my screen. You should currently be viewing the welcome page. You should now be viewing the Rotary International website. The Rotary International website is listed at rotary.org, www.rotary.org. What we are here to do tonight is show you the Rotary Club Central portal. The Rotary Club Central portal is where you, as presidents and president-elects, you can start during your president-elect year, will be entering your goals, and you can also view reports. So our focus today will be strictly on Rotary Club Central. Everyone who has access to edit or make entries in your club data on Rotary Club Central includes the club president, the club secretary, the club treasurer, the membership chair, the foundation chair, an executive secretary if you have one. And also you can designate others with limited to give them limited access as you so choose. And that will be in another session where we can show you how to do those items. And welcome to the callers just coming in. As I mentioned, this is going to be recorded. So the first thing we're going to do is show you how to log in. I did send you instructions on this in your emails. If you do not yet have a login, we encourage you to get one very soon. You're going to go here to My Rotary, and you'll click on My Rotary. And I may be a little delayed on your end, so just bear with us, please. And if you haven't gotten a login, you'll go here to register for an account. If you do have a login, you simply sign in to My Rotary. Now, I already have my sign-in and password here. They are case sensitive. You can ask your computer to remember you if you so desire. We've now had another caller join us, so for the purposes of this, I'm just letting those callers know we are being recorded. So please note that, and you are all currently muted at this time. So when you get to My Rotary, it's going to show you your own snapshot of your club. Now, for the purposes of this evening, I'm just letting you know, because my club is Akron, I'm going to show you my club's data, but the club has no relevance regarding your goals as far as your size or what you do for service projects. Every club is very different, as you all know. So please don't take this as an Akron presentation. It is not that at all. It is simply because that's my club and what you will be seeing today. So first, after you log in, you're going to go here to Manage, and you just hover over the button, Manage, and the pull-down screen comes up. And you have a lot of different options. But again, today, we're going to focus on Rotary Club Central. So you simply hover over Manage, bring your cursor down, and click on Rotary Club Central. Now, as we begin, I'm going to let you know that this section, this portal has been redesigned this year. So even your past presidents, your current president may not be aware of what this portal looks like if they have not been out here since July 1st. So you are truly the first group that we have actually trained on the new portal. So when you first come up, you're going to see the dashboard. And this dashboard is going to point you to where you want to go. Along the left side are the submenus. Under each item on the left of these submenus are different areas of the portal. The dashboard along the blue line is going to show you trends. So this dashboard is strictly trends until you scroll down to here where you see project trends funding and annual trends funding. This is actually going to show you specific project information about your clubs. Up here, it's going to show you age trends and membership and gender trends. Thank you for joining us. We have another person that has just arrived. So we're going to begin with the Goal Center. The Goal Center is here on your left. And when you pull up the Goal Center, you'll see that there are years right here in the center. Now, it is very important that you know what year you are looking at. So to go backwards a year, you'll go to 16-17. To go forward a year, we're in 17-18. The current year is what's going to come up. To go to your year as president, you'll click to 18-19. Now, again, for the purposes of this demonstration, because my club is Akron, that's what you'll be seeing as the model today. So the first thing you do after you click the year, we're going to focus right now on 17-18 because Rotary International hasn't yet provided what goals are going to be needed for next year, but that will be coming soon. So once you pick your year, we're going to look at these tabs. You have different tabs going across the screen. So right here. And these tabs are very important. These tabs are what are going to lead you to each section for your goals. So we're going to start with member and engagement. And with member and engagement, you have several different sections. Each time you click on one of these buttons, these blue buttons, it opens up that section. So each of these, think of it as a tree. And each section has a tree. So we're going to start up here with club membership. And you can minimize it simply by doing that. So you're going to go in and you're going to click on the edit button. And within the edit button, you see that we've set goals for club membership. You can see your history of your achievement and your goals if you click open that button. You simply put your goal right here in the goal button. And you also can select or unselect this as a goal for your club. You do not have to select each of these sections as a goal. That is totally up to you and your planning committee, board, whomever you are working with to determine what goals you want as a club. If you select it as a goal, you do have to click this button on the right side. Otherwise, the goal is not going to be listed as a goal for your club. Always remember, once you select your goal, to click Save. So then as we continue, we'll edit service participation. If this is one of your goals, again, this will start out blank and you will click Select Goal and you will put your goal here. As for achievement, some of your achievements will come over straight from the system. Others you will have to fill in manually. So, for instance, service participation. The system doesn't know what type of participation you've had, so that's something you're going to have to manually enter. So each time you have a service project, you'll want to enter what the achievement is. So how many members have participated in club service activities during the year? Our club has done service projects, but our club service chair has not entered our achievements yet. So that's why it shows as blank. If you are not muted, please make sure you mute yourself on your end, please. So we have completed them. I could right now say, I know we've had 22 members that have participated in service projects. But if I don't click save, that will revert back to 0. So it will still look like that until you fill it in. Obviously, the Rotary International maintains membership numbers, so that is an automatic build for them. So I'll go down a few of these. I'm not going to go through each one individually because you will have access to do that on your own. Just remember the 2 critical areas are to save after you edit. And remember, you have to go to each section. So I would like to plant a little bit of a seed for you is if you currently are an officer, a president-elect, and you cannot see the edit button, most likely you are not in the database for Rotary International. So when you get your login and you go to Rotary Club Central, if you cannot access it, if you cannot see the edit button, you probably aren't listed as the president-elect for Rotary International. So there's 2 things you can do if that occurs. Please send your officer list to me, Cheryl Warren, at cawarren@neo.rr.com. I know you've gotten emails from me, but you can, so if you don't have that, you can reach out to me. And if they're not in your database at Rotary International, we suggest that you send an email to data@rotary.org as well. But if you get them to me, I will help you get them to Rotary International. Most of your clubs are synchronized through Club Runner. And because you're synchronized, your officers are automatically sent up to Rotary International. But if for some reason your club hasn't put you in as a president-elect, then you're not going to be there. So work with me, work with Rotary International, and we'll make sure it happens for you. If you don't use Club Runner, you can still load your officers through our district website and we'll synchronize it up to Rotary. But I do suggest you try to work with me to ensure that that's taking place. So let's keep going. Other categories under membership, as I mentioned, you will have time to go through on your own. But I'll just briefly review some that you have. So new member sponsorship. How many new members do you expect to have sponsored? How many members do you think will sponsor a new club member during the Rotary year? And that's, again, an achievement you have to enter because Rotary International does not track that. Rotary Action Group participation. Many people are not familiar with what a Rotary Action Group is. And I would suggest if you're not familiar that when you log into Rotary International, search on Rotary Action Group and it will explain to you what an action group is. Leadership development participation. Again, how many members will participate in leadership development programs or activities during the year? This each one gives you a brief underneath it so you can identify what it is each section is referring to. District conference attendance. How many members are going to attend the district conference from your club? Rotary Fellowship participation. There's all kinds of fellowships for Rotary. And I'll tell you my favorites. It's the Wine Fellowship, the Beer Fellowship, the RV Fellowship. There's reading fellowships. There's just a birding fellowship. There's a ton of fellowships out there. So again, if you're not familiar with them, go to those on Rotary International and familiarize yourself with them, and maybe even have somebody come out and present about Rotary Fellowships because they're a lot of fun to be a part of. The other section, the last one here, is the district training participation. We have a district training assembly, so you'll want to identify how many of your club's committee chairs are going to be attending the district training assembly. The district training assembly is designed by your incoming president for your committee chairs. So Beverly is working with our chair of our training, and they are going to be putting on the district training assembly, which is sometimes done with the district conference and sometimes it's not, but it's specifically designed for your chairs and your board members. So it is important that you watch for that and to identify how many people will attend. Now back up to the top. Again, these tabs are very important because you don't want to miss any of them. The next tab is the Rotary Foundation Giving tab. There's two things under this. Again, same structure. You have your edit button, and you can show just exactly what this means, how much money will be contributed to the annual fund. And if you're not familiar with what the annual fund is, you need to be asking those questions, and we can explain the annual fund to you through our sessions that we have about giving. Major gifts. This is any outright donation of $10,000 or more. And again, if you think you're going to have donations, you can put that here. Now, sometimes you don't know. In fact, our club did not know we were going to have this. That we had somebody who was deceased and they came forward with a major gift unexpectedly. So that's why our achievement is what it is. We have not had that in recent years. And you may not know. So your goal could be 0. Again, maybe it's not a goal that you set. You can see all the goals when you click on this edit button. The only 2 goals this club has selected is annual fund contributions and major gifts. They have not selected Polio Plus contributions as a goal, nor have they selected Bequest Society or benefactors as a goal. Now, as you can see here, this club has already achieved 1 benefactor. Again, we didn't know about that. It came as a surprise. We didn't set that as a goal. The next tab is service. Under service projects, you have 1 and only 1 goal. Service projects. How many service projects will your club complete during the Rotary year? This club has said 10. They're trying to do 1 a month or 1 every other month without December being included. And I think they didn't do 1 in July maybe. So they selected 10. And we've entered that we've done 2. So again, you don't have to make this a goal, but this club has chosen to do so. Young leaders. So this is going to incorporate all of the Rotaract, Interact, Youth Exchange, Outbound and Inbound, as well as RILA. Again, as you can see, you don't have to select each and every one as your particular goal. You can select what you want to select. This club is already has a Rotaract club, so they're not going to select another one. This club is not selecting any outbound exchange students. Again, they've only selected those that are checkmarked. Public image. Public image has a number of categories. If your club has a strategic plan, we want to know, does your club have an up-to-date strategic plan? And here you would select your goal, and then once you achieve it, you would simply click on this achievement button. It's going down. The online presence is the same way. Does your club have an online presence? If this is a goal you want to set, when you're editing, you select goal, and then once you do have it, you select achieved. Social activities. Are you hosting socials, after hours, get-togethers, anything like that? That's what would incorporate your social activities. Your website and social media. Rotary International wants to know how many times a month your club updates the website or your Facebook or Twitter accounts. And again, this is something you have to come back and manually enter. So for instance, the person that's managing the website and social media for this club is reporting that to someone, and then that person is going to go in and put the achievement in, because that's a goal our president has chosen to select. But it's a manual entry. Media stories. This is how many times you expect your stories to get covered during the year. This club has a goal of 3, and they've met 1 of those goals. They've been in the paper once so far. Using the Rotary promotional materials. This club achieved it because they used the Rotary International trifold. They went and they edited the trifold, put their own pictures and copy in, and sent it off to be printed. And they used it at a special luncheon that they had. So otherwise, again, doesn't have to be your goal, but if it is, you'll want to select it, and once you achieve it, click that button. So I'm going to go back to the top, and I didn't change anything, but always remember to save. Rotary Citation. Most of you, if you haven't heard this already, probably know this as the Presidential Citation. Rotary International's president has historically set a series of goals for each club to meet to get special recognition. This year, although the president has a lot of input on this, they have simply changed the name to Rotary Citation. The Rotary Citation, you can go out and look at this year's online, and it's also on our district website. This incorporates everything that the Rotary Citation wants you to try to meet. So how many service hours, how many service projects, networking events, community forums. There's a series of things that the Rotary Citation is going to ask you to try to achieve. And if you really want, and it's a very prestigious award, so you have to do 2 things in one area, you have to do 3 things in another area. So it's all really based on everything we do in Rotary, and that's service. So it's humanitarian service, and some of it may be related to entering your goals as well and paying your bills on time. But you'll receive that from Beverly, DGE Beverly, after she attends her training in January. That information will be provided to you. That's when it's actually released, is January before your term. So you have a lot of time to think about what goals you want to try to achieve to get that prestigious award. This last tab is all. This is an area that consolidates all of the goals into one area. So if you want to go through it that way, you can. I think it depends on how you like to see it. Do you want to see it relative to membership and engagement, service, or just want it all combined here for you? So it's however you're comfortable in working. So they've given you both options. Each tab works the same as I explained. So any questions thus far? You can type them in. I don't see any. I'm just double checking. Yes, somebody asked to repeat that email address, and it is cawarren@neo for Northeast Ohio.rr.com. And I think most of you on the phone probably know me and probably know that email address, but if you don't, it is on Club Runner as well. And I'll give you my phone number. It is 330-495-9814. Going down the left panel, you have what's called a global view. If you want to see what some of the trends look like within the district, or Rotary International, you will be able to see them here. Again, the same thing applies. You have different sections you can look at. I want to spend a few minutes on service activities. This is new this year, the way that this is set up. This is very new. So service activities. If you're doing a service project, this is where you enter the detail about your service project. And I'm just going to add a new service project. Okay, and I'm going to put this is a test. And I'm going to say the project summary is training for PEs. And you put your start date. So our start date is going to be today, and our end date is going to be today. And I'm going to say, yes, the project's complete. Then it's going to ask you for some metrics. How many volunteers did you have? I have 23 volunteers projected, and I had 23 achieved. Or maybe I had 23 projected and 42 achieved. Total number of volunteer hours. You would take how many hours times 23, and if you all had an hour, that'd be 230 hours. And if you achieved 42 people at an hour each, it'd be 420 hours. Did we have any cash contributions? You can put 0 if you had 0. Value of donated goods and services. Oh, millions of dollars were donated. And if you achieve 0, then that's your achievement. Additional project details. Select all that apply. So you use the down button, the down arrow, and it gives you a few items that you can select from. So for today, we'll say that it was a community event. And then if you had partners, and look, you can select more than one. So it doesn't just have to be one. Over here, you select partners. If you had Interact involved, a Rotary Action Group involved, this is where you would select it. And if you choose other, that's okay too. Maybe you had the United Way or something. And then remember, you have to save your project. So to save your project, you go right here to save. I did the summary as a test for PEs. And we're going to start date with the pull down calendar, end date with the pull down calendar. And then if your project's complete, you mark it complete by clicking that little button. Project metrics are important. Number of volunteers, 23. Maybe I achieved more than that or less than that. You enter it right next to it. Volunteer hours. So if all of you volunteered 1 hour, and I had 23 of you, that's 230 hours, or 250 as achieved. If you had cash contributions, you put it here in projected and what you achieved, and same for value of donated goods and services. Now, this isn't only helpful to Rotary International, this is helpful for you to see how well you're doing on projects. You put additional details at the bottom, so whether or not it was a community project, international, vocational, and then you can select your partners, and you can select more than one if it met more than one need. And then partners, if you had other, maybe it was United Way or a non-Rotary or another Rotary Club and another partner, you select that. And then remember, you come up here and you save. Now, there is one more thing that can occur here, but I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about it today. You can actually, after you save this project, you can actually export your project to Rotary International, and it goes into their service projects at Rotary International. But that's a whole different session that we don't want to deal with today. We want you to get familiar with the system. Go out here and do what we just did. Play around, get to understand how it works, how you find what you need to find. So other things that are here for you are resources. So if you need additional training, you want to do you want some resources in our Learning Center, you click on a button and it takes you to these resources. Now, I may have more resources than some of you will see, and that's simply because I'm looking at it from a district level. You have public image. This is very helpful. We also have links on our district site, but you can get right into the brand center, the voice and visual guidelines, and so forth. So this is a nice place to go if you just don't know where to find something. Your reports. You have a number of reports. Again, works the same way. The 3 tabs across the top, if you want to see where you stand on some of these elements. So club growth. And when it brings these screens up, it will open an actual report screen. And then you will choose, I'm letting it load here for you. So you will choose, it'll open this. Now make sure when you open a report, look at the bottom, because there could be more tabs down here that you will want to look at, not just the first page. Now, the other thing about these reports, if there's more than one page, over to the bottom right here, you'll see little tabs. And if there's more than one page, you'll click on those to go up and down or sideways, depending on how the report is run. To export these, there's an export button at the top, and you get an option on how you want to export them. So you just tap on that and it gives you export options. Again, if you need additional assistance on reports, give me a call and I'll be able to walk you through that. Contacts at Rotary International. Again, it's a resource for you. Katie Vatty, service activities. We'll come back to your question in just a minute, Katie. Or Kathy, I'm sorry, bear with me. Okay. You put in your name, your information. It should populate it for you since you're logged in. And you just put your question here. You'll get an email back confirming that it's been submitted. And then Rotary International should get back with you within, I believe it's 72 hours, if not sooner. Okay, I'm going to open up the mics so that we can have some questions. I think I've addressed everything on the chat line, so give me a second to unmute all of you. Okay. I'm going to unmute you, but if you are listening through your phone and through your computer, you will have to shut off one of them for the voice. Otherwise, we will get feedback. So I am now unmuting all of you. And we are getting feedback from someone. Okay, that's been taken care of. All right, so does anybody have questions that they want me to review or go over with you? No? Okay, well, I'd like to personally thank you. I'm now going to turn it over to your district governor, Beverly-Ghent Skrzynski.
Thank you, Cheryl. I just simply want to say thank you for everyone for taking the time from what I know are very busy schedules. We're trying to find ways to be respectful of everyone's time, and this was our first attempt. I want to thank District Secretary Cheryl, but I also want to thank John Hannes, our senior support from Rotary International, for being here. I'm looking forward to working with each of you. If you have not signed up or contacted me regarding PETS 1, please don't forget to register. From the beginning of that day, from 7:30 a.m. to 8:15, Cheryl will be available to sit with each of you and those that are needing more assistance to talk through Rotary Central as well as my Rotary. Thank you again. I'm going to get off in case there's some more questions, but I'm looking forward to working with each of you.
Okay, Jim Rowe wrote, works for me. Thank you, Jim. Kathy, I think you were writing to say you were seeing the service activities. Any other questions? All of your mics are open, so please feel free to ask your questions. Will we be going over some of this on 11/11, Beverly, was the next question.
That time is set aside for first thing in the morning. And Cheryl, we will have tables set aside during registration. So if you're there right at 7:30, we can, you'll have time with Cheryl to go through any questions you have. This has also been taped, and we're also probably going to do another webinar once we get additional information relative to the goals, as well as for the Rotary Citation. But we wanted to be sure to get you started and do something that we could do online.
Thank you for your question, Stephen. Other 0730, it is. Thanks. You're welcome, Stephen. And again, please go out, get your login. Call me. I can do things over the phone between now and 11/11. Feel free to pick up the phone. Again, 330-495-9814 is my number. And that's probably the best thing to do, is call me. And we can set up a time to actually either do a webinar or I can come and meet with you. Either way. But I am here to assist you and to assist District Governor-elect Beverly.
Hey, Cheryl, this is John Hannes.
Yes, John.
Do you mind if I break in with just a couple tips from my own experiences with Rotary Club Central?
Please do.
All right. So I've been able to work with this tool. Hi, everyone. I'm on staff at Rotary International, and you'll be introduced to me in a different way throughout PET. And I do want to thank you for your time, for coming here, and for letting me be a part of this. But I do want to say that in my own experience as a club officer, something that we've found helpful is that as you go throughout your year, if you build in time to fill out the achievements as a club, I think it gives everyone a different sense of responsibility or community as you start to achieve these goals. As Cheryl mentioned at the very beginning, there are 6 officer positions that have the capability to come in and edit goals and also help mark the achievements and the progress toward those goals. But every single one of your members who has an online account through My Rotary can log in and check on the status of that progress. So what we're trying to do in our club is once a quarter, sit down and see if there's anything that can be updated within that quarter. That could be things like service activities and projects, fundraisers, the goals themselves. So you don't have to wait till the end of the Rotary year to try to get those things in and accomplished. Chip away at them if you can. It's going to save you a ton of time at the end, and I know that from firsthand experience. I do want to reiterate what Cheryl said about editing goals once you've set the goal and have started to achieve them. I think it's very tempting for people to come back in and say, oh, we just had our 20th person sign up for the district conference. Should we push that goal up higher? My own personal feelings on that may be different from everyone else's, but I say don't. I would say leave that goal set to what it had been so that when you achieve it and surpass it, it looks like you overachieved that goal. It gives a signal to your successors who would be coming in after you, looking at the historical data for setting their own goals for the year, and they could say, okay, well, we thought we'd have 20 people go to conference. We actually ended up with 35. Maybe our goal this year could be 35. It shows you that achievement and sort of lets you pat yourself on the back a little bit. It's also visible by people at the district level who may have some interest in the goals. They really aren't going to be in there editing for you, but they can at least see you've overachieved something. And maybe that could, I don't know, garner an award at an event in the future. I can't promise that. I don't work in the district. And as Beverly and Cheryl have both mentioned, we're rolling out more and more goals each day related to your year. We're almost there with all of the goals for the 18-19 Rotary year. The one section that we're holding back on is the Rotary Citation, because that won't be announced yet until at least after the International Assembly. Your governors-elect will hear more information about that, and then we'll fill in that section. But just be aware that a lot of the goals that Cheryl showed you today are going to repeat again for next year, so you can already start to think about them, even if they haven't yet shown up on the tool. And that's it. I think this is a really great session. So I'm thankful that you both took the time to put this up online for people to see it in action.
John, we have a question here from Peter D'Souza. He said, John, all club members can view the goals and see progress versus set goals. Only the 6 officers can edit the goals, is my understanding. Is this correct?
Yes and no. So I'll explain that in 1 second. Yes, the 6 officers that were mentioned at the beginning of the session have the capability to not only come online and work in Rotary Club Central, but also access reports and also help take care of club administration procedures. Yep, it looks like she's about to paste them. So those 6 positions. Now the final dot that she has on here is sort of why I say yes and no. Each of those 6 officers have the capability of delegating their online access to at least one other member in the club. It doesn't mean that you lose your capability. It just means that somebody else may have the opportunity to help you set these goals or run reports or help maintain the club. So keep that in mind. You as an officer have the right to delegate your access out, but you also have the right to take it away from someone. They'll have the same online access. They just won't see anything that's private and personal to you, like your profile, your personal giving history, and so on. It just gives them access to help come into these types of tools and assist.
And I can give you an idea of that. And this is something this club has never done before, but they've designated somebody to be in charge of the presidential citation, or what's now known as the Rotary Citation goals. So they've designated a person for that for the year. You could designate, and they've also designated somebody to enter the service projects. So that person has access for 6 months. You may want to give them access for on a different level. So you can designate people that can help you do this job. It doesn't have to be all on you.
Exactly. Exactly.
Does that make sense to everyone? I'll take that as a yes.
So we've got a guidebook that I can make sure that Cheryl has that shows the process for delegation. And if anyone has questions about it, I know that her club has done this before. I'm on part of the support team that helps maintain delegations. So I'm also very willing to help answer any of those kinds of questions.
Our club's done it for the very first time this year. We had never done it before. So it's new to us too in Akron. So I had to learn about that as well. The other thing I wanted to mention, John, while you're on the phone, is there is no way to get back to Rotary International from here. I believe RI is working on having a tab to get you back to Rotary International's website. So don't feel like you're struggling. Just go to another tab and open it up if you want to go back into Rotary International's site and get off of this portal at this time. So don't feel like you're missing something.
Exactly. We wanted to make sure that this tool was up and running in July, and that was one of the items that they thought we can wait. We can add this this feature in the future. I should also say that this product is finished. Like, we're not done making this. There's a lot of things that we would like to do. And luckily, with our new product management team that we have here and our new model for managing our products, we're able to make these adjustments. So as Cheryl mentioned, this is a new version of the tool. It originally came out in 2012. And for those 5 years in between, our team members here in Club and District Support, as we've gone out and done trainings and all sorts of things, have taken feedback. And for 5 years, we've said, we'd like to see this change and this change. And they'd say, okay, when we have time. Under our new product model, we're able to now have a team of developers dedicated to just this tool rather than this tool and the 10 other ones that exist on the website and the website itself. So changes that we've been able to see have gone from taking 5 years to accomplish. We're now seeing things happen in as little as 3 weeks. So it's very impressive. I see it. Yeah, it's just been really, really impressive. And the speed of it is very nice as well. I think as you're seeing this through GoToMeeting, just know that that sort of slows down the views of a lot of things as Cheryl is clicking around. So the speed of the tool is going to be a lot faster as you use it. And I see Kevin's question is Rotary Club Central integrated to Club Runner or vice versa? And the answer there is no. It's its own freestanding tool that's specific to club goals. Club Runner is a little bit more about running your meetings and managing your membership. So they're two separate things.
And I will tell you this, you can make your login the same as Rotary International, but it's not automatically the same. So whatever your login is at your Rotary Club, if you're using Club Runner, is the same as your district login, but it's not the same as Rotary International. Rotary Club Central is a portal within Rotary International's website. So you need to think of it as really embedded in Rotary International. Now, as someone asked us to show additional or to talk a little bit more about delegation, please provide additional information on the delegation structure. I will, how about we have about 6 more minutes left, 7 more minutes. I can get the information about that and send it out to you. There's a help guide for delegating that John can get to me, and we can send that out to you. I'll go to this and show it how to delegate your online access, but I'll show it to you briefly, and then I will also make it available on our website. So here's the how to delegate your online access. Talks about what delegation is, which John clearly explained to each of you, and and how you share your online access for this. So for certain roles, a delegate will have access to sensitive information and functions, but they cannot turn off any features, and that's very important to know. So when you delegate, they can't necessarily do some things based on your delegation, but it's going to be very important that you read this document and understand how delegation works and what they see versus what other roles may or may not see. Would that be accurate, John? I'm trying to get down to this.
Absolutely, yeah. Please take a couple minutes just to review that document. It is a little lengthy, but it not only explains how to do it, but why you would want to, but also why you would want to be cautious of who you select. You can choose to delegate to somebody for as little as 24 hours and then up to 365 days, or the end of your term as officer, whichever one comes first. But they would have the capability, say, for instance, if your secretary was to delegate to somebody, well, that person would have the capability of going in and accidentally deleting everybody from your club roster or adding people in that maybe weren't quite ready to be members yet. So the two people involved should have, I think, a nice conversation about expectations.
And that's a really good point. We don't, for instance, our club didn't do any delegating without the approval of the president, and that's how our president of our club set that rule. And out of respect, I think that's something you want to discuss with your board. As John said, you don't necessarily want the club treasurer having somebody else go out there and make changes to things that are related to the club treasurer without your knowledge. But again, you can do it however you wish as a club. One of the things that was I failed to mention is that we recommend you do have a lead person and a backup person for different people. You never know what's going to happen in life as a general rule. So it's good that you have backups, but not necessarily delegate backups to everybody. John, would you like anything else added? And I'll send that document out to all of you after this meeting.
Yeah, I think that document pretty well explains it. So if you are interested in that and you do have further questions, there's some contact information in there of who to reach out to. There is another question in the room that says, who can change the goals? All of the individuals with the access that have been discussed? That's correct. Yeah, anybody that has any of those 6 positions has the capability to set goals and then edit their achievements as well. And that access, I should let you know, as soon as you've been identified as a president-elect for your club and it's been recorded in our system, you have that capability. So you already, if you've been identified, if you're a president-elect in the room, you have the ability to go on to Rotary's website and start pulling reports and working with your current officers to help interpret them. You have access to the 2018-19 tab in Rotary Club Central for editing goals. And then you'll also have that same kind of access for 1 year after your term is over with. Just in case there's like anything to clean up or finish filling out as your term comes to an end.
One other thing I wanted to mention is when you go out here and you say, hey, we don't have 151 members, we only have 23 members. Why does it say 151? That should send off some red lights to you. And bells and whistles. You should go in and check your database in your Club Runner site, check your synchronization, make sure that your data is correct, and then if there's a problem between your synchronization in Club Runner and Rotary International, let's get on the phone and work it out. I spent quite a bit of time this month and last month working out some issues with clubs because they either hadn't synchronized their club or the person that was doing their membership had stopped entering members. So a number of things can go wrong, and we want you to make sure that you're looking at good data. So if something doesn't look right to you, pick up the phone, call me, or call Rotary International, and we'll work through it. But it's always a good idea, and most of our clubs are using Club Runner now. So it's a good idea to look at your Club Runner data and make sure you know who's entering that data, how it's being synchronized, because some of that information really drives who can access your database up here at Rotary International and who can edit your goals, and it affects some of your achievements as well. So we want to make sure that we're here to help you in any way we can to ensure we have clean data. And that brings up another point, the dashboard. I wanted to mention something. We're good at getting gender trends, age trends, not so much. It took quite a while for me to get ages out of our club. You are allowed to ask the age of a person. You just have to preempt it by letting them know it in no way affects their course for membership, and it's for demographic purposes. Rotary really is trying to get a feel for what ages we have, and I know there are many clubs out there that have no ages in their database. But the more you convince, you really have to educate people that it's for demographics and trends only. We never share that data with any third party. And we actually have a disclaimer. Several clubs have disclaimers on their proposal forms and their applications for that very purpose. So
absolutely. And I would say if people are uncomfortable giving you the exact year of their birth, can you at least get them in the right decade? Because you can kind of see they can age themselves down just a little bit, but on the left-hand side, you can see that we group them 29 and under, 30 to 39, 40 to 49, and so on. What we're trying to do here is not only see, who our membership is made up of, but also give clubs an opportunity to look at this. The example that I give is I'm able to look around my club's meeting and say like, oh, these people who will constantly come, yep, I can tell you what our ages look like. But when I look at the data and take into account all of the people that aren't making the weekly meetings that I don't see face-to-face each week, I realize that, oh, I'm a little bit off. We actually have too many in this one category and not enough in our 50s and 60s category and so on. So, at least getting some kind of information in here just gives you a nice quick visual of the status of your club and where you could maybe draw attention in your next membership engagement or next membership attraction event.
Well, and it helps, and you can put, as long as you put the age in Club Runner and you're synchronized, that moves up. That's one of the vital fields that move up to Rotary International.
Yep. And if anybody is on my Rotary, on Rotary International as well, you could do the same thing through your own member profile. And then through that sync, I believe it's going to identify it at the club level through Club Runner.
Right, it does. So we are at 8:03. Beverly, do you have anything else to say because we do want to stay on time for these folks?
No, just thank you very much.
Thank you all. And if you have questions, again, please give us a call. We're here to help you. Have a good evening, everybody.